5 years, 15 years, or for as long as there is manor. Ano po yung kontrata nila with Kamchan Herisho po ba yun?
Memory right, I think we started with a 25-year lease agreement with, they entered into an agreement with 25 years lease term, and the option 25 years. That again would be now the basis, or our basis now in is how the BCDA will now want to proceed with the remaining years of the lease agreement. I heard some pretty positive news from the BCDA that they would want to continue with the lease agreement, and I'm keeping my finger crossed that it will just continue, not to bother the third parties, which are the unit owners.
Meron na po ba yung 25 years na ano na po ba? Na...
Our 25th year will end next year, 2025.
Okay. Sir, what exactly is DevCo turning over to BC Lodge? What exactly is DevCo turning over to BCDA? What are they vacating? Is it just the land area of 247 hectares or so?
Yes, madam. We are vacating the 247 hectare lot. No? And we are vacating, of course, those that are under the control of DevCo. Meaning...
Under the control, like, did you say, sir, those under the control?
Yes, those
What
that are under the control of DevCo. Like the office, the Scout Hill area, the fire department, yung kusina nila doon sa DevCo. Those are the only structures that are under the control of DevCo right now. Walang business enterprise in DevCo.
So, sir, but wala po sila sa business ng, for example, hotel unit owners. But should there be a need to protect the rights, and DevCo will be doing it, DevCo pa rin ang lalapit po sa korte in the name of hotel unit owners?
In this case, the unit owner will be the one to approach legal advice for if ever there is an office. Individual unit owners will do that.
Individually po, or meron na po ba silang parang class na normal?
So far, wala, dahil unang-una, wala pa namang notice from the BCDA. So wala pa kaming na-receive. So it is very premature to do anything that we don't know. But again, going back to your question, Madu, I think that will be now, the case will be under, will be the unit, each unit owner should be responsible to address the issue.
Sir, yung
To expire, and for BCDA to take over all the improvements inside Janay, free from tenants. And with all due respect, the regional trial court judge, the presiding judge, refused or has not acted on this motion. So when it was about to expire, the judge was going on leave to attend a one-week seminar. And by the time she comes back from that seminar, it may be too late in the day. The takeover should have been consummated. So we went to the Supreme Court of Appeals, and the Court of Appeals said that it's valid. But the Supreme Court ruled otherwise. So that we cannot do anything because that's the highest court in the land. So now, as much as the regional trial court decision has been reinstated, including the notice to vacate issued by the sheriff, then we are awaiting for the implementation of this notice to vacate to be served upon the Manor Hotel and the Forest Lodge Hotel, as they did way back in 2015. So we have options, but we do hope that the ongoing negotiation between Kamjani Development Corporation and the BCDA would be fruitful. There are ongoing negotiations And the BCDA Board of Directors are here and they're deliberating that. We do hope that what had earlier been agreed upon after the decision of the Supreme Court came out will be implemented. So that's how we stand right now.
Okay, thank you very much, Attorney Bong. Will you
Interested, how will the, you mentioned, Sir Bong, that you recognize the decision of the highest court. So, how would you, or what's the plan of DevCo in as far as the transition is concerned?
Yeah. Well, the decision of the Philippine Dispute Resolution Center, or the PDRCI, number one is the decision, the lease contract between BCDA and DevCo was rescinded. Two, DevCo to vacate JHSEZ and to turn over all improvements constructed during the term of the lease, including all new improvements as far as practicable. And third, the BCDA will have to refund 1.421 billion to DevCo as rentals that were paid to BCDA. All other claims were denied. So that's the decision. Well, it was Kamjani Development Corporation, DevCo, who initiated the complaint before the Regional Trial Court of Baguio, was the one who went to the court asking for the implementation of the decision, which became final and executory. Now, during the pre-execution stage, the question was raised. Are you going to turn over all the improvements inside JHSEZ free from any tenants? Yes, we are going to turn over all of those that are under our control. No, this includes the hotel and no. The decision did not make mention about the hotels, the other establishments, the private cottages there. No mention was made on that. They should have clarified that. Because the lawyers of DevCo were of the impression that they can turn over only those that are under their control. You cannot turn over something that you do not own. Well, you see, let me cite to you the law. We have Article 448 of the Civil Code. It says, when a person builds on another's land in good faith, Article 448 of the Civil Code provides that the landowner can either, one, appropriate the works after payment of the indemnity, meaning whatever improvements you have introduced there, which was done in good faith, after spending your money for value, that must be refunded by the landowner. Second, oblige the builder to pay for the land. Those are two rights that cannot be violated because that's the law. I am surprised why this was not really taken into consideration. So the land belongs to BCDA. DevCo was the winning bidder. Under their contract, DevCo can sublease the lands. Okay? The sublessee in turn will build a house, or if there is an existing structure already, must pay for the cost of the building. So he owns that building already. You own the land, the owner of the building owns the building. At the time that they entered into that contract, the contract of lease was valid. So it was done in good faith. Can you just take over the property without due process of law? The fundamental of the land, which is the Constitution of the Philippines, so provides, no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. So that's one thing that we would want to avail of in the event that the talks between BCDA and DevCo will fail. But we do hope that the board of directors who have initially had a talk with the members of the board of the Kamjani Development Corporation were in agreement already as to how the transition would come into effect. walang madi-displace. Yung mga employees natin will have to stay. Kasi they'll have to consider that. Thousands of employees will be displaced. Unemployment problem yan. Wala namang kasalanan yung employee. So that's something where the government should bring itself closer to the people. And I'm sure that that is being considered by the BCDA Board of Directors.
Sir, follow up po. Tawag dun, yesterday, we had an interview with the officer, with the president of BCDA, and he mentioned that they are willing to discuss matters and come up with agreements with all stakeholders within the JHSEZ. Sir, sa part po ng DevCo, are you willing to negotiate with them, considering that also DevCo also has businesses inside JHSEZ, like this, like Manor and Forest Lodge and kung ano pa man po. So, are you willing po, if ever, and considering din po that you recognize that the land and that the land is owned and managed by BCDA, and you also recognize, sir, that the decision of the Supreme Court.
Let's be clear on that. You made mention about DevCo. Is DevCo willing to negotiate with them? Definitely yes. And then you went on to mention that DevCo still has business interests inside the camp. The Camp Janay, Manor, and the Forest Lands is a separate and distinct entity, not under DevCo. The decision of the Philippine Dispute Resolution Center is between BCDA and DevCo. And under the law, the Supreme Court had on several occasions rendered decisions that strangers to a case are not bound by the decision. See? So, the Manor and the Forest Lands, although they filed a petition for intervention, was practically not acted upon for the simple reason that the Supreme Court went to state that the decision of the Court of Appeals, where we filed this motion for intervention also, is null and void. Why? Because the decision of the Philippine Dispute Resolution Center was already final and executory. And we cannot in any way amend, modify, or reverse the decision which has become final and executory. Yun ang kompo doon. So, again, DevCo does not own the Forest Lands, the Manor Hotel.
In that, the fact is, we have 208 unit owners at the Manor, meaning each of these units are individually owned. And at the Forest Lodge, we have 189 unit owners. So, your questions of DevCo owns the Manor or the Forest Lodge is not true. We have individual unit owners on each property. And we come in as a management company to manage those rooms and become a hotel pool. This is why we have the responsibility to the unit owners to, at the end of the year, give them a percentage of the revenue as part of that agreement. We do that every year, and so that's how we have been doing that for I've been here for about 25 years, I guess. And the perception of the hotels owned by DevCo is not precise or correct.
Sir, may I just clarify that question? I got that idea because we all know you are DevCo, you are also Manor, you are also.
I report to a management company called Camp Janay Leisure, which is not under DevCo. It's a management company that operates both hotels. We engage into an agreement with Hotel Corp, which is DevCo. I mean, we engage as a management company to run both hotels, the Manor and the Forest Lodge.
Sir, so your personality as a panelist today is not DevCo.
No.
Okay,
No,
that's
I
clear.
do not represent DevCo. Attorney Bong represents as a legal counsel. And
As a legal counsel of who? Of what company?
he is our legal
Counsel of DevCo.
Yeah.
Sir, so you are here as,
Manor and Forest Lodge.
so you are not here as DevCo, sir? Okay,
DevCo
so,
will come up with,
Mike.
DevCo eventually, in the event that they would like to meet the press, will have their own representatives for them to be able to answer with certainty whatever questions that may be asked of them.
so I just want to make clarifications again. You mentioned that DevCo, who is willing to negotiate with BCDA? Going back to my earlier question, is it DevCo or is it Manor and Forest Lodge? Just to make things clear po.
Yes, you see, DevCo is protecting the rights and interests of the third parties. The third parties include the Manor and the Forest Lodge. The unit owners of several other structures inside dyan, like yung mga cottages, yung mga residential cottages ito all over, yung mga ibang locators dito, no? They are the third parties who are being included in the notice to vacate when they did not even have the benefit to present their side of the story. They were presumed to be sub-lessees of DevCo. So all persons claiming rights under DevCo, sabi ng decision, are likewise ordered to vacate.
But sir, right now, it was clarified that you are representing the Manor and the Forest Lodge. So you're speaking to us as Manor and Forest Lodge. So does that mean that Manor and Forest Lodge are willing to meet up and come up with an agreement with
Compromise.
Yeah.
whatever
Compromise.
with the government side, or you're joining DevCo na hindi pa po natin alam kung ano pa yung decision na gagawin ng DevCo because you are here as Manor and Forest Lodge.
Yes, because DevCo is protecting the rights and interests of the third parties. They have entered into a contract with during the existence of the contract of lease. So they would like to protect these people because they are of the impression and they have the belief that these third parties are not supposed to be involved in the dispute between BCDA and DevCo. The court order says ordering DevCo to and all persons claiming rights under them. Who are these persons claiming rights under DevCo? We are not claiming rights under DevCo. The Forest Lodge and the Manor Hotel are not claiming rights under DevCo. This is a separate and distinct corporation being managed by the Club Leisure. So, our services here was engaged by the Club Leisure. The same is true with our General Manager, Mon Cabrera. Not by DevCo.
Sir, panguli po, ibig sabihin po ba may continuation pa despite the fact that the Supreme Court has already said that it's final and yun na po ang huli and they will not anymore accept any petition? Ibig sabihin po ba you talking to you as Manor and sir, and
DevCo has earlier informed us, no? There are ongoing negotiations and it's going to be very peaceful transition. Of course, DevCo will have to get out. Lalakas na po yan. So, BCDA is now willing to refund the 1.421 billion and out they go. So, wala na out in DevCo dito. Ngayon, in the event na yung sheriff would like to take over the company, we have no other recourse but to protect our rights also. We have to go to court to protect our rights. Not because we would like to go against BCDA. No. We are protecting only the rights and interests of the unit owners who have entered into a contract with the club leisure. So, yun lang po yung amin dito. We would not want to be confrontational. We would just like to protect our rights and interests also. So you have no other recourse but to go to court and let the court decide.
Okay.
So, quick clarification lang, yung agreement with the BCDA, was that a statement from the manor or from the, kasi kanina nung sinagot niyo yun, hindi pa natin na-clarify whether you are there as manor and forest lodge or as DevCo. So, balikan po natin yung tanong na yun. Itong sinabi niyo po yun, you were speaking to us as manor and forest lodge
Yes.
or as this DevCo?
Of course, DevCo, of course, may kwan yan eh, may meeting din, no? We were informed by the board of directors, no? Because they have to inform all the stakeholders inside Janay, like the country and the Kamjanay Golf Club Incorporated, no? They had a meeting with us, and that was what the DevCo conveyed to the manor and the forest lands, the golf course, the Cap Janay, yung mga yan, no? Because they are protecting also rights. So we are aware of what's going on. Not in representation of DevCo, but in representation of the club. And the information we gathered was from DevCo.
Okay, thank you very much.
Part of your legal strategy. Iba magsasalita ng DevCo, iba ang Camden Hill Leisure. Is it part? What's the grand plan, sir?
It is not a strategy. It's just that, of course, you are the legal counsel for a particular group.
Yes, sir, because I hope you don't mind, sir. The invitation to the letterhead is Camden Hill. It's not Leisure Development Corporation. We start from there. So what's the personality of Camden Hill Development Corporation and what's that? Leisure?
Club Leisure
Camden Hill.
is a management corporation.
Okay, sir.
And it is managing the business affairs of the manor and forest lands.
And the fact that I have in mind that the Supreme Court decision, correct me if I'm wrong, Supreme Court orders DevCo Capjanay orders BCDA to take over the management.
Kamjanay? No, that really is not the order of the Supreme Court. The order of the Supreme Court is that it's not even executory. The decision of the Regional Trial Court Branch 6 of Baguio was reinstated. Yeah. So, that now is the subject of some concerns by parties who were not parties to the case. They were strangers to that.
Two questions lang. Second. Sir, sabi mo 1,000, sir. Sir Mon, sabi mo yung you are now ongoing without preempting your negotiations with BCDA, right? If there are top 5 of your prayers to BCDA, what are those, sir?
I have one prayer, but that everything goes smooth and there will be a smooth transition when the BCDA takes over the management of the whole camp. That's the only prayer I have. And second, that our employees are not affected by that decision. That their employment will continue with Camp Janay for both hotels. I think I cannot ask for more. I only have to bring up. That's all.
Okay.
Okay.
Councilor Mandapat, considering that Captain Hilly Shore entered into a lease agreement with DevCo on the operation of the manor and forest lands, isn't it that Captain Hilly Shore derives its authority from DevCo which in turn out makes it part of the person's in interest.
You see, the hotel is owned by unit owners, no? And the club leisure is a management corporation running the affairs, but it did not enter into a contract of lease with DevCo. It is a separate and distinct corporation. So when the club leisure took over the operation and possession of the manor and forest lands, they took over in its own personal capacity, not deriving rights from DevCo. But they are not sublesses of DevCo.
So,
In fact,
on
if I may add,
on what
Dex,
basis, sir? On what basis?
if I may add, Dexter, the Camp Janhi Leisure entered into an agreement with individual unit owners to manage their units. That's how we started. A 15-year contract with them that we will manage the unit.
Yeah. But from what it appears, it was DevCo that entered into.
Possibly to manage the hotels.
What are the other legal remedies that are readily available for us?
Yes, of
Thank
course.
you.
The other legal remedies is, of course, for the manor and the forest lots to go to court in the event that the negotiations between CJH DevCo, who is protecting the rights and interests of third parties, that includes the manor and the forest land, will fail. So that will be the time that the manor and the forest land on its own will have to go to court to protect its rights and interests. But we do hope that that won't happen anymore, because it appears that the negotiations between the management of the Camp Janhi Development Corporation and the BCDA, I think, is a little bit approved na. Medyo maganda naman yung naging usapan nila. So, hopefully, makita rin ng yung BCDA, yung karapatan din ng mga hindi talaga kasama sa problema. Yun po.
Okay, thank you.